Hi everyone, this is Professor Tucker, and I'm sorry about the lack of videos for the next series of chapters for chapters 3 through 6, but my camera has decided it does not want to work for the moment, so I'm going to just use these recordings along with PowerPoints and JPEGs, so hopefully these videos will still help you out even though you're not looking directly at me. So starting with Chapter 3, the structures and contexts of cultural reality. This chapter basically focuses on family and communities as well as business as social structures and social contexts. It also discusses worldview and context as social interactions. So I'll kind of get started. The first part discusses family as social structure and communication in families. This is such a vital and primary part of our being because we begin our communication in our families, whether they be a nuclear family, an extended family, whatever you grow up in, or whatever part of family that you are a part of. Maybe you're raising children. The communication starts there. The learning and the language and the development starts in a family. So different forms of family, like I mentioned, the nuclear family or the extended family. A nuclear family is typically identified as a parent or parents and a child or children. So this is kind of the immediate family. The extended family usually includes grandparents and other relatives such as cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces and nephews, etc. The functions of the family are many. First being the very basic of reproduction. We are part of society and we keep society going through reproduction in our families. Second is teaching economic values. So we learn about sharing and responsibility in our families. Every family engages in activities that are aimed at providing, such as food, clothing, shelter, different needs for different individuals. Third is socialization. Your family members or those that raised you that you consider family, blood or not blood, are your teachers. They are the first teachers that pass on information from your culture from generation to generation. We train and teach our children, to nurture and to love and to know what's right and wrong and to speak and to act in a civilized manner in society. We teach core values in the worldview. Children are not born in the world that automatically disposing them to believe in something such as many gods or no gods or one God. We teach religion to family. We teach the worldview, how we see cultures, how we see responsibility, obedience, achievement, self-reliance, independence, etc. And this differs between cultures. Fifth is identity development. People have more than one identity. All of you have multiple identities at an individual level, a national level, cultural, sexual, ethnic, social class level, as well as familial. Your family is perhaps the most important of all these identities because it's the first institution that sends messages about identity. This is where it starts to develop. And then sixth, communication training. Families teach us how to use language, how to understand and interpret different languages, how to create and maintain relationships, how to express yourself or not express yourself, how to argue, display affection, and choose topics to discuss. Families are often influenced by their environment, so we assume different roles in our families, and this could include the problem solver, the jokester, the peacemaker, the troublemaker, the caregiver, or the helpless victim. We also take part in many rituals and stories. We share secrets in our family, so certain things that we don't share with the outside world, such as religious practices, health issues, legal issues, conflicts that occur within the family, and financial matters. These things usually stay kind of tucked away and only shared with those individuals that are part of the in-group or part of the family. Go ahead and take that communication pattern quiz on page 72 and 73 and kind of consider your family's communication pattern. Is it conversation oriented or conformity oriented? Read about that as well as Chen's model of relationship development on the next page to give you kind of a greater understanding of how these patterns work. The next part is about communities as social structures. This is including your work, school, your friends, romantic relationships, any parts of this that occurs outside of the family community. So this is also having to do with, your gender, your ethnicity, class, religion, race. All of these things can be contributors to your social communities. So discussions of social justice and transformation in the community. This happens in the workplace, religion, and in the home and family. Read through each of the numbers listed with those and what those questions are. Consider, the answers to yourself personally. And then there's local community building, the notion of inclusion, need for control, and openness. Community development is incredibly important, and it is a process. It takes time and it takes a lot of commitment from individuals. It's not a singular event. It takes many. Obviously, it's a community. The next section talks about worldview and how to define worldview. There are very many definitions. Chapter 1 talked about that. Learning about religion and worldviews help us discover the link between communication and our worldview. So your culture's worldview, think about it. Answer questions. Does your culture believe in the existence of a supreme being? Is that supreme being a god or your god? Do members of your culture try to dominate or control nature, or do they try to blend into it? What are your beliefs regarding the origin of people? Does your culture believe in supernatural things? If so, what ways? Do you believe that rocks, rivers, plants, thunderstorms, earthquakes, and every other form of inanimate reality have being? Does your culture believe that certain individuals carry the power of curing? Do you believe in some sort of afterlife, heaven or hell, for example? And does your culture believe in reincarnation? So what is the worldview? The cultural resume is an activity that I really enjoy doing in my classes in person, but it can also be quite informative for an online course. So go through and choose different things, different customs, different people, different countries, lifestyles, nations, and communication style. The next section talks about context of social interactions. So there's healthcare, there's religious, holistic, biomedical, education as a social institution. All of these parts are very important as the whole. Cultural ways of knowing starts on page 86 and links into page 87 as well. Ways of knowing are very important, and this refers to the methods that people employ to think and to become aware of their universe. So what is the world around you? How do you learn about it? How do you understand and experience life? Is it the same as other individuals, or is there a way of knowing different? And then there's business as a social context. The business context is increasingly intercultural now, and intercultural competence is critical to communicating effectively in business. So consider certain parts of your jobs and your careers. Who speaks for your organization? Who decides, makes those decisions? What people are there, and how are they motivated to work? What is the basis for business relationships? What is the meaning of a contract in your job? Are job evaluations conducted? Are they uniform? Are they adapted to specific individuals? Or, does it occur on the whole? This changes. Refer to the summary of the chapter that starts on page 103 and ends on page 105. This really does help in preparing you to take the quiz. And of course you can use the book along with taking the quiz and posting your discussions. But this kind of gives you an overall idea of what the chapter was really about, and maybe will help to explain different parts that possibly you skimmed over or didn't understand fully. So be sure to read the chapter summary as well as the main contents of the chapter. I hope that this recording has helped you out and that the slides were a bit more informative. This is a big summary of the chapter, so please do not use this as your only form of studying. I want you to read the book and focus on the book. That is the main part of this course. This is just an additive to help you out in really considering different parts of these chapters and maybe relating it to your life a little bit better. So be sure to take the quiz for Chapter 3. Also, post your discussion, as well as responding to at least 2 individuals from the class. Many of you have posted multiple posts on multiple discussions, and I really do appreciate that, and I enjoy reading each and every single one of them. So I am kind of the silent observer. I read all of them, and I can take all of them into consideration when I'm grading. So continue the good work there. I'm really proud of you guys, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. So keep it up. I hope this helps, and I hope that each of you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye.